Greetings, BUSN 1360, Software Apps for Business Students. I'm Dr. McGrory, and I'm going to be your instructor. And welcome. And at this point, you're watching this video because you are preparing to do your absolute best and to be successful on your hands-on exercise, which we commonly call grader projects, okay, or graders. So this is a required assignment, and you can kind of use this video to prepare for any of your graders. So let's get started. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do, let me kind of close out of this, is I'm looking at my desktop and I'm using a Windows operating system, Windows 11, but there are alternate instructions in your book and in your study of the file management chapter that deal with Macintosh operating systems. If you have a Chromebook, I need to again emphasize that that will not work. Here's my suggestions for anyone who at any time throughout this semester, throughout this term, needs access to a computer. Southwest has a free laptop loan program where you can borrow a Windows operating system computer, a computer with Windows operating system, and Microsoft Office. So you want to check that out. There's an icon in your My Southwest portal for that. Another thing, if you don't have the software, Office 2021, you're going to need that. And so any Southwest student has a free benefit where you can freely download and install that software on your computer. You simply go to office.com. And I also give you the link throughout your syllabus and in different places in our course. You can also use like portal.microsoftonline.com. But the thing is, log in with your Southwest email, the full email, which is username at southwest.tn.edu. Okay, that's your full Southwest email, and then your password, and then you'll see an install button in the upper right corner, okay, of the page that you log into. So you can install that software. But you don't have time for that. The assignment's due and you've had a computer failure. Go to campus, go to the Southwest Library, go to an academic support center. You can use those computers for free with high-speed internet. You've got printers, it's quiet, you've got heating and air conditioning as the situation, whichever is needed, and you can work there as a Southwest student. Also, if you have a public library near your house, check with them because oftentimes the public libraries have computers that you can use that are equipped with the software that you'll need. Okay, so check those things out. All right, so you have the computer. I'm looking at my Windows desktop. And the first thing I want to recognize is that I am going to do an assignment for a class, and it's for a specific chapter, and I need to get organized. And hopefully you kind of got this concept as you worked through the chapter on file management. So I'm going to work on Word Chapter 1 in my first grader project, and so I'm going to create a folder so that I can keep my files nicely organized there. How do I create a folder? I like to right click. So on my desktop, I'm going to right click, I'm going to go to New, and I'm going to go to Folder. Now, as I create this folder, I will say, if you want to store your folder or create a folder on OneDrive, please do. Or if you want to create it on a flash drive, wherever you're most comfortable, that's what you want to do. It's asking me for a name. I tend to just call mine something very short, like Word, and I tend to not put spaces just because they can sometimes cause difficulty. So Word-1. That means, to me, Word Chapter 1. Okay? Now, it's an empty folder right now. I can see that, nothing in it, but I am prepared. Now, what do I need to do? Well, I need to go into the system that we use, which is the website is myitlab.com. It's also called MyLab IT. We're experimenting with some new things as of the 2022 fall semester, where we're hoping to embed all your course materials into PAWS so that it's a one-stop shop. Right now, I'm in advance of that, so I can't wait because we're going to pilot that in 2022 fall. But I'm going to go ahead and go into my IT lab, and I'll restart the video when I'm fully logged in and at the place where we can get started. So I have logged into the MyLab IT website, and I'm in a course that is just a demonstration course, and it should reflect what you're going to see inside of the course. Now, a big tip that I really want to emphasize to you is not to use like assignment calendar, but instead, please go to course materials, because you're going to miss mistakes. You're going to be better if you do this. That calendar sometimes will suppress things that you have passed with like a D, right? Because it'll think that it's complete. You don't want to do that. You need to see everything, and you're going to be able to see everything if you go under course materials. Highly recommended. Now, hopefully you've completed the required tutorials, and you've also completed our chapters on operating systems and file management, as well as this chapter on Microsoft Teams. And I hope we had some fun with that. Now, your first grader assignment is going to be in Microsoft Word, but you're going to have graders really throughout the rest of the semester. And so this video is going to be applicable to any of these chapters, and you can reference this video at any time. I'm going to click this Introduction to Word folder to open it. I just clicked it one time and it's open. And what I would encourage you to do is to first complete all the prior activities. Look at your ebook. Use these PowerPoint presentations, this audio, as a quick way to see, what do I already know about this chapter? What do I not know? Every student in this class will have a different skill level. Some people can be quite advanced on a particular topic, or need help on a particular topic. Some people are beginners. That's okay. Some people are advanced and have been using a lot of these software applications for a while. That audio PowerPoint will give you a big picture and very quickly go through the chapter with you. This video, notice it says this is for the hands-on exercise, what we would call a grader. And so that's what I'm going to show you. But every chapter has one of these videos that demonstrates all the things demonstrated in the chapter, including the concepts for the hands-on exercise. So I encourage you to watch that video. Now, what does the video not do? It does not say, here's step 1, and here's how you do it. Here's step 2 of the grader, and here's how you do it. As your instructor, I'm going to try to guide you through with supplemental videos to support that, so that you have everything that you need to be successful, to get that A, and I hope that you will use these resources, because you can do it. I believe that. I do believe that. Now, you'll notice that I've already completed the quiz, but I didn't make a perfect score, and I've only used one of my attempts. You don't want to stop there. You want to go back into that quiz, and you won't see that necessarily in the assignment calendar or in some of your like to-do list programs, because it will say, but you've completed it and you've passed. Let's say you passed with a 65. You don't want to accept that 65. You want 100. It's a very short investment of your time. So I left this like this because you know you can review your quiz answers. You'll learn from that. Take that quiz again with your new improved understanding. Make that 100. Now, the simulation. Here's what all of these tasks have in common so far. They are all only required, the only thing all of them require is your browser. That's it, okay? That's different when we do the hands-on exercise or the grader. Anytime you are asked to do a grader, whether it's a capstone grader or whether it's, just a chapter grader, you're going to need the software installed on your computer. What can you do? Academic Support Center, Southwest Library, oftentimes public libraries, Southwest Laptop Loan Program, where you can borrow for free a computer to use at your house. That's what you're going to need with the software installed, okay, for these hands-on exercises. So you have many choices, many resources. One does not exclude you from using the other. If you run into a problem using your Southwest laptop that has been loaned to you, get to campus, use a computer in the Southwest Library. If you have a public library close by, go to that and check and see, do they have the software that you need? Because they probably do. You want to check with them. All right, but we're talking about simulations, and here's what I want you to understand. Do that before you do the grader. Here's why. The tasks that you are going to do in this grader, you first did in the simulation. What if you don't know how to do one of those tasks? The simulation is a training. You see how it's a training? Yes, you are graded on it. But what happens is that if you don't know how to do something, this is what you're going to do. You're in the simulation. It says add a page border. You say, I don't know how to add a page border. You're going to click on Learning Aids and then Practice. And what practice is going to do is it's going to, still in the simulator, it's going to say, you click this and it waits and you have to click it. Then you click this and it waits and you click that next thing and you go through and click each place that it tells you. You type what it tells you to type. And then it will say, completed. That's how you do it. But you're not completed. You're just completed with the learning aid. It'll put you back into the task. Now you know how to do it, and you go through those steps to practice it, so that you're not just clicking mindlessly. Now you are thoughtfully using that just-in-time information to complete the task. And guess what? As we get to the grader, that's when you're going to do it in context. So you see the skills that we're building here. First, you're learning the whys and you're seeing videos and you're getting that knowledge. Then you're kind of being assessed on the knowledge itself. Then you're being trained in a hands-on way where you're graded on completing those tasks. But you're given all the support and success where you're guided through any task that you don't know how to do already. Then you're going to put that knowledge to work on your own computer using the software that you need, right? The Microsoft Word or Excel or PowerPoint software that's required for that chapter. Okay, so the sequencing here is important. The simulation training is very important. It takes time, but you should be able to get 100% on all of these. So now I'm ready for the grader. Any grader begins by simply clicking the assignment, and I want to make sure pop-ups are enabled. So if I see any red little X's in my web address bar, I need to make sure and address those. Graders are always 4-step processes. There's one exception. If you are doing a capstone grader, then when you finish doing these 4 steps and successfully pass the grader, then there will be a quiz that opens up. Okay, so a capstone consists of one assignment with 2 parts. A capstone is a grader with a quiz. But right now, we are focused only on a chapter assignment. So here we are. Step 1, it says, download the materials. So I'm going to click on download materials. And what it tells me in this particular case is that I have 4 files. The number of things to download will vary. You can download these one by one, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. I do that all the time. When you download them in that way, the files are basically ready to work on, okay? But some students like to download all files, and so I'm going to explain that to you because it's a little different than what you might think. When I click on download all files, it is not going to download each one of these individually. Instead, it is going to, and here's a key word, zip them up. That means it compresses them all up into a single file. And in that single file, you will see all the individual files. But guess what? You don't want to use them in that format. It causes strange errors at the worst possible time. So I'm going to walk you through how you unzip. Okay, here we go. Download all files. Now, you can see actually I did this once before and I deleted it. If I had downloaded those files individually, I would see each file listed individually, and I would simply save the file to where I wanted to save it. Now this is Microsoft Edge. Different browsers do work differently. But I downloaded them all at once, and it created, do you see this folder right here with a zipper on it? It zipped them all up into this one folder. So I'm going to click on Save As, and I'm going to choose where I place it so that I am aware of where I place it. I want to place it on my desktop. So I'm picking desktop, and I'm going to save. Please save wherever you feel comfortable performing these steps, whether it's OneDrive, whether it's a USB drive. Now, I've saved all my files. I'm going to close. And for a moment, I'm going to minimize this browser. Oop, okay, let me get, I'm sorry, a little advertisement there. Now, where is it? It's over here. This is that zipped up file. When I double click that to open it, I can see the 4 files in here that were part of the assignment. The big mistake that students make is they open the file and they begin working. But remember, it is zipped up. This is a compressed version of the file. How do I unzip it? Well, one of the easiest ways to unzip it is just to copy the files into a new location. Now, I've already made that new location. For me, let me just kind of move this over and I'm going to resize it. For me, that new location is this folder on my desktop, this Word 1 folder that's currently empty, right? So here's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to teach you a trick along the way. I'm going to click one time this first file. Click. I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to hold down my Shift key and I'm going to keep it held down. And with that Shift key held down, click the last. Do you see how everything between the first thing that I clicked and the last thing that I clicked is now selected? Let's do that again really quickly. To deselect, I click into a safe place, such as this empty space in this window. Click one time this first file, hold my Shift key down, keeping the Shift key held down. I'm just going to move my mouse over here to the last thing in the list, and I'm going to click the last thing in the list. Now all of that is selected. With all those selected, I'm going to copy from this window, and I'm going to come over here. I click to make this active, and I'm going to paste. Isn't that awesome? All my files are now unzipped, not compressed anymore, and they're in my Word 1 folder. Let me close this, and I'm going to close that. Now, another mistake, number 2 mistake that students make is they have multiple copies of that file, and they end up submitting the wrong one. You get upset, you email me, you say, I am telling you, Dr. McGrory, I did that work, and the computer is marking me wrong, right? And it's simply, I've done this, I've done it myself. It's because you're uploading the wrong copy of the file because you were working on this copy and then you worked on that copy and you're getting them all confused. So what I do, I'm going to get rid of this zipped file. I can always download those files again if I need them. So I'm just going to delete it. I right-clicked, I did a right-click, and delete. Now, inside of this folder, I've got everything that I need to begin work and complete the assignment. And the first thing that I see as I kind of glance through this is the instruction file. That, for me, is always where I start. Now, I'm giving you a generic preface to completing any grader, and I'm going to go through these steps in detail in a video that is just on this particular chapter grader. But what I want you to see is here's all the instructions, and I want to emphasize this to you. Whenever you open one of these Word documents, especially if you're going to begin work on it, enable editing. You cannot ignore that yellow bar across the top. You have to take care of that, okay? So here's all my instructions. I can simply zoom in to view the instructions, more clearly. I personally like to print my instructions, and you'll see me reference these a lot as we do these videos together, but these are my instructions. The one other thing I want to explain, or really 2 quick things that I want to explain, is that you will see always a file that has your name. Where mine says student, yours will have your name up here. That is going to be the file that you work in. That is going to be the file that you submit into the grader for immediate grading. Okay? Now, in my view of these files, I happen to see something that is also explained in the instructions. In the instructions, it tells me, let me make this more clear, it tells me to open the file that ends, see how it ends here in .docx? On your computer, I sincerely doubt that you will see this. by default, Windows operating systems and Mac operating systems don't display this .docx, okay? It's just simply not necessary to display it. The only purpose that that .docx or .pdf or whatever does is it conveys to the operating system that should I double click this to open it, what application should I use? Should I use Excel to open this? No, because it's a .docx, which is a Word document. For that reason, that extension is typically hidden. How I like to display it, that's just me personally, because my background's kind of in IT, and so I tend to look at those things. I think most people wouldn't. How do you turn it on and off if you're just curious? Well, inside my folder, if I click on View, I can go down to Show and see where it says File Name Extension. Now it's hidden, but I am not going to be worried if my instruction says open this Word file name with this .docx, because I can see by the icon that this is a Word file. If I cannot see that icon clearly, what are we adjusting here? The view. So we'll click View. Maybe I want to see large icons. And see how I can really clearly see that these are Word documents now? And that .docx, I don't need to see that. If I wanted to see it, View, Show, File Name Extension. And see how it displays now? Okay, so it's just a setting. It's just a way to view that. All right, so now I'm ready. I've gotten my instructions, I've downloaded my files, and I'm ready to begin work. If I go back to the grader, because remember I came into course materials, and then I opened the grader and it opened in a new tab. I've completed step 1. What is step 2? Step 2 is almost not even a step, because it's a preview of those same instructions that we downloaded. If you prefer to view the instructions right here in this kind of little window on the screen, that's great. Perhaps because I'm a little older, I have difficulty seeing in this little box, and so I prefer to have the, to use this copy that I've saved to my computer. And as I mentioned, I like to print it so I can reference it. It is your preference. Whichever you decide is perfectly okay. They both contain the same information: the steps, the instructions, and how many points you get for each one of those steps. So that's all step number 2 is. Now, what is step number 3? Step number 3 is where I actually choose the file that I'm going to upload. So I haven't completed any work at this point, but I'm just going to demonstrate this to you. I'm going to click on Choose File, and I have to remember where I put that file. This is where you're going to pick the wrong file to upload if you're not paying attention. So desktop is where I saved mine. I put mine, I'm working on the Word 1 folder, and remember that it's going to be the file with your name. So I would pick that and then open. Now, do you see how it's listing that file? But I'm not done yet. Then I need to upload it. Once I upload it, and see how I had to wait for that success, then I would submit for grading. Now, I will do that as we actually complete a grader, because an important next step is that I want to identify my mistakes, and I want to fix my mistakes in that document that's still on my hard drive, right? Still on my computer. And I want to fix it, and I want to upload it again and submit it again so I can get it correct. But that's kind of a quick overview for the grader. Really, I'm not going to submit it at this time. What did we learn? Just a quick recap. We're going to go to course materials. We're going to open the particular chapter. We're going to complete all the above assignments first. Then we're going to go to this the chapter grader itself, which will open into a new window. Before we download those files, we want to plan for that. We want to, wherever your place is your place My Documents, is your place OneDrive, is your place a flash drive, you're going to create a folder. I've created mine on my desktop, and you're going to make sure your files are unzipped. That means copy them from the zipped folder and paste them into a new folder. okay, so that now I can begin work. So I hope this helps you. Again, I'm going to refer students to this video, even if we're, in the Excel chapter, because the steps are going to be the same for your chapter graders. Thanks, folks. And I'm here to assist you again, Dr. McGrory. And we're going to walk through this together, and I hope you're going to learn a lot. I think it's a great course and very useful skills. So thank you so much. Bye.